Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of Locker Room and Voice of the People TV. I am your host, Jerry Arpeliohai. And trust me, we've got a thrilling show lined up for you, and it promises to be exciting with the guys, the usual suspects, talking about Ikechukwu and Maiwa, who will get to join us. And of course, they're locked and loaded with hot takes and sharp breakdowns on everything shaking the football world right now. So strap in. We're diving deep into the drama, the scores, the controversies, and nothing is off limits. So stay tuned, smash that subscribe button, and then ring that bell so you never miss a moment of the action. And hey, don't just watch and join the conversation. Hit us up through the WhatsApp number on your screen and drop your take live on air. Ikechukwu, how was your weekend?
It was a very cold weekend, but I'm good.
Are you cold?
Yeah.
No mosquitoes to keep you warm?
Mosquito doesn't keep people warm.
Mosquito keep you busy. That's what I'm saying. So you understand the term.
I don't understand the term.
I know you want to beat around the bush, but anyway, why was your weekend that cold? Okay, as cold as Man United's transfer window. I understand. Nothing is happening there. So it's just a winter. Winter has come.
No, I was a little under the weather on Friday.
Really?
So,
really?
Plus, I had to just find a way to warm myself.
How are you feeling now?
Yeah, I'm good.
Back?
Fit like
fit?
a yeah.
Fully fit and ready to go. Okay, it promises to be exciting today. Loads and loads of action. And of course, it starts on a very interesting but controversial note. I remember last week we talked about John Obi Mikel and the fact he said that he spent as much as 50 million in Naira to help the Olympic team in 2016 find their way to Japan. Was it Japan or China?
Rio, Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil, Rio 2016 Olympics. And since then, a lot of people have called the NFF out. I, for one, say that the government are used to being owing people a lot, so it shouldn't be any different. But one man has come out to counter the claim of John Obi Mikel, talking about the coach himself, the coach of that Nigerian football team to the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio. No other than Samson, Siasia, has hit back at claims by John Obi Mikel that he paid for the team's air ticket to the tournament. Mikel was picked as one of the 3 overage players and the squad by Siasia as permitted by the rules of the tournament. And Nigeria went ahead to pick the bronze medal as the event. And coach of the Nigerian football team to the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio said that all he said were actually not true. He said it's not true, insisting that while Mikel paid for some of the bills of the hotel, he didn't pay for their air tickets. Mikel Obi did not pay any flight money for Olympic Games from the United States to Brazil for the 2016 Olympics, and that's in his own words. He said, and I quote, "We only had issues with hotel bills. I think he did pay for some of the hotel bills, but that of the flight from the United States to Brazil, Mikel did not pay for that." He added that the Delta airline flew them, the team flew us because Nigerians in the United States were agitated over the issue, and a friend of mine went to Delta airline chairman and they resolved the matter. Yemi Dowu had earlier paid for the team's flight ticket, but the aircraft was too small. If Mikel has a receipt to that effect, let him show Nigerians that he was the one who paid. Mikel did not pay for any flight tickets of the team. I say this as the head coach of the team, then he should bring the receipt if he actually paid. And he went on to say that maybe, quoting Samson Siasia, maybe he is broke and looking for money. He should try other means to make money, he concluded. I think there's something between Samson Siasia and Mikel that they've not told us. But we also want to wait to see how Mikel responds to this. But coming with this fact shows that there's something contradicting in Mikel's story, because Siasia was there. He was actively there as the coach of the team. If he says this, definitely we'll have to listen.
Absolutely, we have to really listen. And this is the interesting part. You don't just take one side of the story. Mikel's claim, this is not the first time it came out, that Mikel actually supported the team. I think Siasia actually confirmed that Mikel also supported the team. That can actually be confirmed. Then, of course, the issue of the flight ticket and how much Mikel claimed that he's been owed or is yet to be reimbursed is the conversation now. Mikel said 50 million. Siasia didn't actually say 50 million. Siasia's hinge was on the flight ticket. Perhaps the flight ticket is the 50 million that we're talking about today in Naira or less.
Maybe the hotel bills, that's what I was talking about. Hotel bills and some other.
But Siasia,
what about the flight from Nigeria? Because did any of the team players not leave from Nigeria to the US?
But the truth is this, right? Siasia cannot. Siasia also confirmed that Mikel actually supported.
Yeah.
And we also know that, by calculations, money spent for hotels, travel, camp, before the tournament itself, everything will be in excess of over 50 million naira. Going by today's calculation of value of naira. So, which means, say, for example, for preparation and all, if the amount that they actually spent was about 200 million naira, maybe Mikel helped with the 50 million naira, which he's claiming that he's yet to be reimbursed. But then, the conversation now, Siasia is hinging it on the fact that Mikel said he paid the flight ticket, and that's exactly why he's, waiting for a receipt. The truth is, it has been established that Mikel supported the team. Siasia also confirmed that. Now we await Mikel's position as regards the flight ticket. If he actually said he actually paid for the flight ticket, then we will await the flight. But the issue here is this, right? I don't know why Samson Siasia actually concluded his thought by saying maybe Mikel is broke. And that is exactly where it feels like, there's perhaps, an issue between the both of them. There's something they actually, there's an ass they're about to grind. But the question here is, if you look at the antecedent of both of them, right, after the 2005 Under-20 World Cup, if you remember, Mikel was supposed to be part of 2008 Olympics in Beijing, China. Samson Siasia refused to actually take Mikel along. In spite of the whole nation begging Siasia after we played our last qualifiers match or qualified for that tournament, Samson Siasia said he's not taking him along because Mikel was not part of that team that went to
it was not available for qualifiers or something.
For qualifiers, yes. And he said
because it was still even within the age bracket.
Yes. I mean, it was still the 2005 boys that went to the 2008 Olympics. So now Mikel did not make it. Perhaps that gave a sort of a level of some sort of bad blood. Now in 2016, there's no way he's never going to be. There's no way Mikel will not be part of that team. He has not been there before. The rest have been there before, and you need 3 overweight players. Mikel was arguably Nigeria's biggest export at the point. So yes, you need him. You need his experience. You need everything. So he took him. He was part of the team. Maybe as how players can be with their ego and maybe he actually showed
some bad blood.
Maybe he showed some level of disrespect and they just kept their relationship professional all through the tournament. And Siasia is not a man known to talk a lot. You also remember that Mikel also had this thing with Olise when Olise was the coach. Mikel also had this thing with the big boss assistant Amokachi. It was the big boss who stepped in at the point during that Nations Cup in 2013 that actually ended that feud. So Mikel also had that thing in him as the captain and leader of the team. So perhaps there's something that perhaps Siasia sees this as an opportunity to really come out and say, yes, this is the time to actually, since you said it and you didn't do it, okay, come and prove. And yes, I mean Mikel has alleged, so let him actually come and prove that he actually paid for the flight ticket if he did say so.
So what is Siasia's own gain if eventually it's revealed that Mikel lied, or it will find out that it looks like there's bad blood between them? That is why Samson Siasia is taking this personal.
Well, the thing is, people can be very funny. I mean, these guys are humans first, and sometimes that's why when I look at celebrities, when I look at important persons, in public figures, I tend to look at them first as humans before the position they find themselves. So I expect them to actually react like every other human would have reacted in their closet. So they might have issues, and this is exactly why certain things is best to be managed and then just kill it up. But then Mikel and Siasia, looking at you ask about what could be his gain. Trust me, I mean people sometimes look at you and the only thing that will give them joy is just to see you being embarrassed in public space. And maybe this is one of those opportunities he's been waiting for to actually put Mikel in his place, right? So I just hope that, you know, at the end of this drama, we'll get to find out, you know, who is actually telling the truth. But when I first saw the story, I was actually expecting someone to actually come out to actually either, you know, refute it or, you know, affirm it. And the person I was expecting isn't the coach. I was actually expecting one of the players to actually come out and say, yes, this actually happened. I mean, many of the players actually played at that point are very well retired now. So I was expecting one of them to come out and say, NFF did us dirty. Mikel actually came through for us. But then someone is coming out to say, no, Mikel didn't actually pay the flight ticket. But it's good that he also confirmed that Mikel actually supported the team, which is also a very big question mark. Because, come on, why will a player be supporting a national team? I mean, it's so sad.
But for Mikel, for instance, did he specially tell the NFF? That's the question that, oh, I'm borrowing the NFF this money to take care of these bills. I will be expecting a return. Because the NFF could actually say, yeah, we thought you were doing it out of your own being a good Samaritan. At least you are going to be part of this team and you're a big boy, you have the resources. You just did it to help your country. And of course, make sure your players do it. Let's not take that for a fact.
Jerry.
So now he's saying it, is it because he's expecting a return? Or they felt that, this man, you did it out of your own good widow's mite or as a good Samaritan. Now you are telling the whole world because you want a return. But legally, can he go and meet the NFF and say, I told you guys when I was doing this kind of stuff, look, this is borrow, and I am not giving this money out because I love the team that much. You get? But if there's nothing like that, the NFF could actually say, we thought you're just doing the team favor, you're just being your brother's keeper. That's all.
Well, that's very possible. I mean, it's very possible that Mikel just actually did it, and you know, in his own faith, hoping that the NFF will also reimburse in their own faith. Right? No. That's a possibility. Looking at, okay, let me just do this.
But shouldn't he have done it and just forget about it? He has the money, not to
Jerry, I can decide to actually do a favor. Okay, say for example, we are all traveling to an official assignment, and then you know the cash for fuel is not actually enough, and I decide to actually take from my pocket to actually support the trip so that we can actually get to where we're going to. And I come back to the office and I'm like, Jerry, I need to be reimbursed. You guys saw that actually, you know, I did that in my own faith. I didn't actually communicate with anyone to actually do it. But I mean, it's only reasonable for the organization to actually look back and say, okay, yes, he did this, and it can be proven that he actually did this, then they should reimburse him. But then, considering the society that we find ourselves and people who manage their affairs, that's what I'm saying, the society we find ourselves and people who manage their affairs of our football, people who actually played are yet to be paid. Talk more of someone who actually they feel, okay, this one is comfortable, he just did this out of his own. And that money for that particular trip, the people who are at the end of their affairs at that point must have collected that money to cover that trip. So now Mikel actually did that. I think it's only reasonable. If they are reasonable enough, they should have actually done it. But again, that part of the conversation that you asked of, if Mikel actually had that conversation with them, that this, it might not be, it might not be subject to the public scrutiny at this point. But with this allegation of the coach now, then a lot of things will definitely unfold. And this is why I'm kind of liking this conversation, because in the end, it's going to open a lot of kind of and even the NFF will also be, in the center of it all, because the money that was allocated for that trip, where and how did you guys spend it? That will warrant Mikel'S spending from his own personal purse to actually finance this particular trip.
All right, we understand that Mario is with us. Great to have you join us. And of course, I know you're still looking around for players, but don't worry. Come to where we know where the players are. We'll show you road. They said in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is the king. Mario, we are just talking about the story of Mikel versus Samson Siasia. Siasia said that Mikel did not tell the truth about him sponsoring the team to the 2016 Rio Olympics. This is something that happened roughly more than 10 years, 15 years ago. And it looks like it has come back again. They say that history always finds a way to bite at the future. So it looks like we're going to revisit the past. Things that happened behind the scene are beginning to unravel with Samson Siasia taking on John Obi Mikel.
It's always amazing to be here. Well, I think the two gentlemen should go and sort out their issue by the side. There is no point dragging each other. This issue has happened 9 years ago. And, Mikel has said a couple of times that, he spent his money to, to pay for flight. However, why did Siasia wait till this time before he said anything? Yes, a lot of people might say they banned him from football, but I mean, he just got back. I think he was banned for 5 years, and this happened about 9 years ago. So why is he coming out to say this? I think it is water under the bridge. There is no point, bringing about controversy. In as much as if Mikel had actually paid for flight expenses from his pocket, is wrong, and it would be a shame to the NFF. However, as at that particular time that it happened, there is no proof of that. Nobody has come out from, no anonymous source has come out to corroborate whatever Mikel has said. So it's more like you said, he said, and there's no point dragging each other down the rabbit hole. The bottom line is that's happened 9 years ago. If it actually happened, then it means the NFF are not serious, and I hope going forward that does not happen again. But because of the antecedent of the NFF, you might want to believe that this actually happened. I mean, these are the same body that are owing players for over 3-4 years, over 17 billion released, and we've not heard anything about the money being paid to the players and the rest of that. The last Nations Cup that we got to the final, the $4 million that CAF gave them, we've not heard anything about it. They've not come out to tell us how they've disbursed that money, if they have disbursed it at all. So, I mean, I would not be surprised if we dig deep into this story and we find out that probably Mikel is right. But my big question is this: why is Siasia coming out after 9 years to tackle Mikel? I think something is fishy, and I think probably maybe more probing will reveal the truth.
All right, it looks like Mikel recently still re-echoed what happened, and I think Siasia got the wind of it, and he was posed with the question and decided that this high time we set the record straight and let's let the world know the truth. But he did not actually put out that the fact that Mikel paid for something. He said he paid the hotel bills. Could it be that the hotel bills was about in amount of 50 million? You know that as players, they will live in luxurious, they will want to stay in luxurious hotels. That means, did he pay their hotel bills while they were in the United States and while they were still at the Olympics? Maybe, I don't know. But because I know that Rio at the Olympics, they're supposed to create accommodation for the players. So, it's his word against Samson Siasia. But Samson Siasia, the coach, what does it benefit if he is trying to expose Mikel?
I don't know, but the question is this: Mikel paid, right? Why is Mikel paying for Nigeria? Why? Yes, you might say maybe obviously the host of the Olympics, definitely one of the criteria is that they will provide suitable accommodation for people. However, if that accommodation is not suitable, you can move. I'll give a typical example. The last Olympics in France, I think I can't remember the team now, maybe Team Brazil or Team USA, they had to pay for an hotel for themselves. They were not satisfied with where France gave them. And, this was the United States making a different arrangement from what France made when they knew how important the Team USA basketball team, how important they are. They had to make extra arrangements for them. So if whatever accommodation the Brazilian has given us is not suitable enough, why is it that it is Mikel that is paying? What happened to, the organizing committee, the IOC of Nigeria, the organizing committee for the Olympic, LOC rather, organizing committee for the Olympics? What happened to them organizing a more respectable place for Super Eagles for the players to stay? Why is it that Mikel is paying? To be honest with you, if actually Mikel paid, then it shows we are not serious, because there is no reason why a player should be funding a country like Nigeria when we are not, with all due respect, when we are not Somalia or Benin Republic that doesn't have that resources that we have. It doesn't make any logical sense.
All right, and of course, let's not also forget Olugbenga Bamidele is reminding us of on YouTube is reminding us of that a certain Japanese man
also gave them money.
Yes. And then he said $500,000. I think that was $390,000. So what happened to that money? Was that money not enough to settle Mikel and settle wherever they borrowed money from or wherever and so on and so forth? We all know the NFF, or maybe the players shared it among themselves. I think it also created problem.
That particular money was for the players.
Was for the players.
Yes.
The players shared the money themselves.
Yes, that's their money.
The NFF did not get hold of that money. Anyway,
I don't know if they got the percentage.
Yeah, those players will not take it funny because after the ordeal they went through, and the NFF will ask them, please, bring that money.
Exactly, this is the same thing that destroyed our football. Remember when we qualified for that World Cup in 2002? It's still about money. When the then I think it was River State Governor, the Peter Odili that gave the players money for qualifiers. After they qualified, the NFF under the Minister of Sports under Ishaya Makaku actually demanded for that money, and then he told the big boss and what's his name, the late big boss and late Amon Shaibu, to actually talk to the players, and Olise refused. That was where the whole drama started. Exactly the same thing played out now, but of course I don't know how this one went. Maybe the players actually parted some percentage to the footballing body, but the truth is
NFF then definitely.
Of course, what I'm saying is the truth is this has always been an issue. This money issue is as well. So I don't know if perhaps maybe the whole issue of Siasia and Mikel'S started from this particular point where this money came and then how it was disbursed. But of course, this story is never dying. This story is not ending. This is the beginning of it because I know Mikel is definitely going to respond. This is not going to be the end of it. Even if Mikel doesn't want to respond, people will troll him until he speaks out.
Okay, I think the information I'm getting that $200,000 actually went to Samson Siasia from that money.
Okay.
And the 190 went to the captain, John Obi Mikel.
Okay.
So, and there was also an additional bonus for winning the bronze medal, which was about $200,000. So they still made a lot of money. Why are they still fighting each other? I think they don't any need to still be asking that I paid something. No, the way Mikel has been sounding over this, it looks like he is expecting that money to be refunded.
No, Jerry.
My
money is my money. If what if Mikel didn't pay that money? Are you saying it's not entitled?
No, it was out of the sympathy. No, everybody had to.
Not out of any sympathy. Nigeria is not a poor country, Jerry.
No, out of the sympathy.
No sympathy. The politicians are not sympathetic to you.
The situation of this Japanese, I think he was a plastic surgeon, giving this team the story went viral.
Yes.
That this team sponsored themselves. They almost were not going to be part of this competition. They came a day before their first game.
Yes. And
they made it to the semi-final and won the bronze medal. It was a big story. So a lot of sympathies were towards that team. So somehow that sympathy also earned them lots of money.
So Jerry, like it or not. So the point is, because Mikel spent money, now any other money.
Is there an official document? He said that since I spend this money, NFF, you are going to reimburse me. Okay, all the money he made. Wait, can all the money?
No, the question, Jerry.
Because he should bring it to the NFF too, so everybody will sit down and share the money.
You are sounding like a politician.
It's not no, I'm just being logical. I'm just trying to look at. So we cannot all sit on the fence and want to look at it from
Jerry,
this.
What if he didn't make any payment?
They would not be at the competition. Yes, everyone would have stayed at home.
Okay, so
yes, everyone would have stayed at home.
So Jerry,
and forgot about
Jerry, let's say the NFF actually supported them. They went there and then they made this money. Are you saying it's not entitled to the money?
It's entitled,
so
but there will be a sharing formula.
What sharing formula?
Yes, for
the same sharing formula.
Sharing formula for who?
For who? I don't understand.
For the NFF bringing you there.
I don't understand. The money
was sponsor. Everybody's.
The same people that didn't care about how we got to.
No, if for instance they cared.
That didn't care.
Okay, Mayo.
They didn't care. I mean, the same people did not care. They didn't care. They were ready for us to forfeit the Olympics. It took the intervention of players to get themselves there, and that was what brought them sympathy. Do you understand? So I mean, ideally, Mikel is not supposed to be sponsoring Nigeria. Are we saying as at 2016 we are broke? And as at that time, it's not as if the economy is as bad as it is right now. And Mikel had to sponsor the team. We had to get there a day before our match. And we're getting a lot of sympathy, and money is coming, and the NFL expect to get from that money. It doesn't even make sense. It shows how shameless they are. You could not raise money to take the team there. People raise the money, and you have Good Samaritan giving them Bambiala money, and you want to still share part of it.
Can you shame the shameless?
It's not shameful.
Maiwa, can you shame the shameless? That's the truth now. You can't shame the shameless. I will not be surprised that the NFF was demanding their cut from the $390,000.
It's very possible.
And it was not only that, a lot of people were still giving them money.
Jerry.
The NFF will say, Oga, Alpha, let me at least, you cannot, you are a big boy, you don't even need the money.
See,
yes, I can tell you
one thing
so
I
you
know
tell you
is
that you are bigger than $200,000. Drop the money for boys, let's share.
Every tournament, right? Every tournament, be it Olympics or World Cup or Nations Cup, there is this amount of money that is voted for the team that is supposed to cover the expense of the team. So the question now is, that money that was voted for this Rio Olympics, why didn't it carry the team to that tournament? This is where the question.
No, there was an issue. There was an issue. I remember that they said there was money budgeted, but due to some new government policy. You remember when Buhari came into power, he said that everything will have to be through the Treasury Single Account, TSA. So there were some bottlenecks in terms of releasing funds. So as at the time the Olympics was coming up, they were still trying to see how they can go around it, and it was really difficult. So the funds were not available.
Jerry.
So the team was going to miss it.
Jerry,
and
wait.
The president was not interested in
Jerry,
football.
be very honest. You bought that story.
Okay.
That your national team is going for a tournament.
we had the president who had no interest in sport.
No, Jerry, no. There's no way they would not have created a pathway for Jerry.
See, let's not forget.
Tell me, did you buy that story?
With that same period, I think the president was not even feeling well. I think there was not even ministers. Let's not forget. There were no ministers for a long time.
Jerry,
before the Olympics.
Did you buy that story?
Okay,
9 years after, they've not resolved the issue of the TSA.
9 years after. Oh God,
this is 9 years after.
You know now, the NFA would have collected that money. Everybody will be happy.
Money don't die for hazard.
No, the money will come eventually.
You don't die for hazard.
No, you forgotten that even $200,000 was missing in a safe some time ago, and different stories. You know now, you know the story. Maiwa, you are going to say something.
I hope it's not snake that swallowed the money. You know, we have seen snakes swallow money. We have seen termites eat money. So probably maybe. But in any case, the thing is this: Buhari came in 2015, right? May. Olympics was very late in 2016. That was
June,
more
July
than a year.
It was not a year. June, July. I think
Olympics was around September. Olympics is usually around September.
No, it's June, July.
No,
Olympics was around September,
October.
No, August, September. August, September. That was
August, September.
It took about 6 months before he appointed ministers. And for everyone, let's say he appointed ministers in January or December of 2015. We had another 8 months to prepare for the Olympics. The bottom line is this: no matter the excuse, it's not tenable. The excuse is not tenable. It is not. We cannot be given this kind of excuse and say they were battling with TSA account or whatever. It's okay. 9 years after, what happened to the money? Has the TSA not been resolved? The bottom line is this: we have shameless people running our affairs. And you've said something, you can't shame the shameless. And that is the reason why a country like Nigeria will go to the Olympics and an individual will be bailing us out. It just doesn't make any logical sense. It just doesn't make sense.
Was the man Solomon Dalong was the minister then, the man with the red cap, always the red berets, and so on and so forth. And the players actually got $14,000 each from that money because there was rancor and saying how were they going to share the money? The players will need to get their share. It cannot just be some people and so on. I think there was even the NFF was even asking that the money should be brought to the NFF first. Then they will now decide who gets what. The players say no, it's better it remains in the hands of Siasia and Mikel. Let them share the money. Because by the time it gets to the hands of the NFF, they will be a story for another day. But these guys made money after that competition. I think they should shoot the sword and move on. Mikel should not be asking for.
Why would you say Mikel should not be asking? Jerry, see, this thing.
As far as the Jerry is concerned,
Jerry,
it's about the hotel money.
It's about
that hotel money, you should forget it. Because as Mikel, before Mikel will become a grandfather, there are still a lot of money that the NFF is still owing him that he will not get till he turns 80 or 90 and even leaves this world. So that one said, that one is too much. These people asking for. We all know the story. We have a lot of players who have died and left money they are being owed by the government, and even we are talking about even the 94 Olympic team. We have a lot of them that left all the promises that were made to them. So Mikel is still young, he's still active, he should still be enjoying his life. And of course, the money he made from football and his podcast, yes, he should leave. He should leave all this. And of course, Siasia, I don't know.
Yeah, a politician.
It's not about me, but it's the truth. If he's going to wait for the NFF or anybody to come and speak for his behalf,
so how
this money? See, the pressure.
Tomorrow we'll come back here.
The pressure will be in second.
Tomorrow we'll come back here. We'll talk about how players are not passionate to play for Nigeria. This is one of the root cause.
No, see, if you are passionate, see.
No, this is it.
If you are passionate about playing for Nigeria, let it be strictly passion with no expectation. That is how it should be. It should be sacrifice, full sacrifice. It's not sacrifice.
Okay, now Mikel gave sacrifice, and you are saying he should forget it.
It's just like Lot. During the demolition and destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, he went to look back and he turned to salt. This one, you look front, don't look back, don't even have any expectations. If not, you will turn to salt. Because I think last weekend, this is not football now. Favour of Philly just recently switched
to Turkey.
And I got wind of how much she's going to be getting. Sign-on fee, $500,000. For Turkey. To run for Turkey. And at the same time, she's going to be getting $30,000 every month. Calculate that one in naira. That's about, our sign-on bonus is about 700 and something million. Sign-on bonus. We're not even talking about monthly pay of $30,000. Tell me, if you have that on the table, would you want to be passionate for Nigeria? This is a lady that has been denied Olympic appearance twice. After she was duly qualified, she was omitted by Nigeria twice. Tell me, that's the situation of the country, unfortunately. Unfortunately, if Mikel had the opportunity to play for another country at that time, a lot of people would have been angry if he had chosen to play for England, for instance, if he had the opportunity. Because Mikel was big then. Now he has retired. He should enjoy his life. He should not get into a situation where he'll be dealing with depression, because he's still a young man. All right, let's go back to Super Eagles head coach Eric Chell is set to accelerate Nigerian squad rebuild by focusing on youth, following the impressive display of Benjamin Frederick at the Unity Cup. Encouraged by Frederick's performance, Chell now plans to include at least one young player in every national team color, beginning with the World Cup qualifiers in September. And topping his watch list is Onuche Ogbelu of Tunisia's Experience, whose standout performances at the Club World Cup have caught the coach's attention. Also under consideration are 18-year-old Daniel Daga of Mode, Hamzat Ojediron of French Ligue 1 side Lens, and right back from Almere City, who helped his team secure promotion to the Dutch Eredivisie. What about the young players back home? But it's a good one to start looking at young players to blood them and prepare the team for the future. And of course, his style of play requires young blood who can run for 90 minutes without getting tired.
Yes, true. There's something that Eric Chell is doing that I really like. Right. Over the years, when a new coach is appointed with Super Eagles, he tends to actually keep the status quo. Yes, it's not bad to keep the status quo, but then it's also good to create a team that the biggest boys will always look at their shoulder and know that this man is not. Yes, this guy is not just relying on us to get a result. If we don't live up to the billing, he's going to kick us out. And something again, right? This is more like a project. We can actually look at these boys in 4 or 5 years and still see them around. It's all about the age. And you talk about the fact that they are quite young. And for a manager who we saw the way he actually played in Mali, it shows that he likes to be very aggressive. He likes to actually press. 90 minutes, his players keep running. You really need real young players to actually get those sort of results. And I mean, the Super Eagles we've been complaining over the years. The truth is we have a first team, but we don't really have a squad in depth. I mean, just imagine few months ago we were talking about no centre back because Troostekong and Semi Ajayi seems to be absent. There's no one we can really rely on. It says a lot about the lack of quality in depth of Super Eagles. And I mean, a good team. One of the hallmark of a good team is the quality in depth, because you never know. Sometimes they might have deep in form, not even injury. They might have deep in for you. You just need to actually look at the bench to bring in somebody. You need a joker to actually change game. We don't have those sort of resources in our team. I mean, it's one of what cost us the Nations Cup, because you look at the first team players, you look at the bench, you don't even see anybody who is coming up to actually change the team. Back in the days, we used to have a Super Eagles where, even if you say it's in the twilight of Nwankwo Kanu's career, we have a Super Eagles where Nwankwo Kanu will be warming up on the bench and will be so happy knowing that something is going to happen. We also have a Super Eagles at some point where we had the Finidi George, we have Tijani Babangida, both right wingers, and they are giving the very best for the Super Eagles. So, I mean, it's that time, again, for us to start this rebuild process. And I think it's one of those very good things that he's managed to do, because every coach that wants to succeed will always be this team. The team he inherited is actually not his. This is his own team. He needs to actually build them. I don't know how much of a time he's got to actually do this project, but I mean, I just hope they give him enough time to actually get his own team, and then let's see how far he can actually lead the Super Eagles.
All right, and of course, with the way Eric Chell is going, it seems like they gave him a long-term project because he's so comfortable. He's talking about the future. He's already building a team that might even outlive just 2-3 years.
Well, I think that's the way to go. The thing is this: the reason for that is very simple. If you look at our team is beginning to age. The defenders, they are in their 30s. So those who are not in their 30s are already close to 29, and just arriving in the midfield. None of the guys in the midfield are less than 28, and even in the attack, none of them are less than 27. 26, and they're already getting to the twilight of their career, and we need to start integrating the young ones into the team that will easily take over. I'll give a typical example. Look at what the Spanish side has done. A whole lot of the players that are the core of that particular team, they are in their 20s and early 21s, and those are the key players in that particular years, with a mixture of some older legs. However, majority of them are still very young, and this is the kind of things we want to see. We don't want a situation whereby we don't have a younger one replacing the older one, and we will be left with a situation whereby Eric Chell will be playing a true second that is injured for a game against Zimbabwe. I think the key thing that Ikechukwu has said, which is very, very correct, is this: will the NFF support this project? I'm just hoping that at the first sign of trouble, with the NFF not throw Eric Chell under the bus like they've done to all other coaches. Eric Chell's stay on this particular job is dependent on if he miraculously gets us a World Cup ticket, even though we already know it's not his fault. If he doesn't get us a World Cup ticket, I'm worried for his stay with the Super Eagles, because the NFF, they want him to magically pull out a World Cup ticket as if he's responsible for it. If he's able to get us a World Cup ticket, I think he will stay long. But if not, I don't think, with the antecedent of the NFF, I don't think they will support the project. I don't think they will support him to stay longer than that. I've said it consistently. Eric Chell has shown the sign that he's ready to rebuild a team for us. If they can leave him and give him the kind of time that they gave to West Ham that built the 1994 team, if they give him that time, I think Eric Chell knows what he's doing, and he's on the right path to build us a team. The big question is this: will the NFF support him?
The big question: will the NFF support him? They say time will tell. All right, let's go back to our former Arsenal defender William Gallas. Believes the club made the right decision by not pursuing Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen, despite the forward's impressive form last season. Osimhen, who shone during a loan spell at Galatasaray, scored 37 goals and provided 8 assists across all competitions. Do you agree with Gallas that he made the right decision? Did they tell him that they wanted to sign Osimhen? That's the question. That they have the money to sign Osimhen, first of all. I mean, pay his wages.
He's an ex-Arsenal player.
Okay,
so
maybe
certain information must be privy to people like this.
Okay.
And he was actually expressing his relief that Arsenal actually jettisoned the idea of signing Victor Osimhen for Victor Gyökeres, right? It goes back to what we're saying. I mean, he was talking about Osimhen being hot-headed. He was talking about him being a player that's not compatible. He might have personality clash with Arsenal and all of that. So So all of these stories, right? It goes back to what we're saying. A lot of people say it doesn't matter. All these things doesn't matter. It's not the reason why the no club wants him. This attitude is a critical part of what clubs, top clubs in Europe look out for. They know that anybody that would disrupt the dressing room is a no-no for a top side. They understand those simple rudiments that people on the street don't know. They know that a player's image is as important as his talent. It is only in this part of the world say, hey, leave him now, he just stop on boys, a big ball play. They don't think like that. Football is serious business. And anything that's going to bring dents to the image of a club, they will do everything possible to avoid it. Osimhen's talent is just, overwhelmingly, that is just so overwhelming that you cannot deny it. But then the truth is, they must always do that risk assessment. Is there a player that's available that can give us something close? If there is, they will always go for that option. That's exactly how business cycle works. And that's exactly what's costing him too.
All right, so Mario, how do you react to William Galler's position?
Well, it's very simple. I've constantly said it. If you are not careful sometimes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes of anger can ruin a whole lot of things for you. And that's the case of Victor Osimhen. Remember when that video came out, we were on this particular show when I think myself and James were criticizing Osimhen and the rest of that. And some people were attacking us and saying we don't know what we are saying and the rest of that. Now, 8-9 months down the line, it is coming back home to bite Victor Osimhen in the behind. The bottom line is this. No matter how good you are, you cannot be hot-headed and you think you will succeed. Ikechukwu said something that is very, very correct. Before the teams will sign you, they will do a risk assessment. What is the problem you are bringing? Can we cope with the problem? If they feel they cannot cope and they have somebody who will not give them a headache and can do the job you can do, if you can get them 30 goals, and you give them a whole lot of problem that the 30 goals will not solve, they rather go for somebody that will get them 20 goals and give them peace of mind. You will not have an Osimhen in the dressing room and he will clash with an Arteta, and the next thing is the dressing room will be scattered. See, in as much as Antonio Conte is a hot-headed coach and the rest of that, Antonio Conte knew if Osimhen had stayed, they will have a personality clash in the dressing room, and that will affect the team. And that is the reason why he said, 2 Ogas cannot be in this boat. Osimhen, you have to put. It goes back to what we are saying. Osimhen needs to launder his own image. If he wants to get off the track of a bad boy, if you look at these days, clubs don't sign bad boys. It is in those days that they sign bad boys and let them be. Nowadays, if you bring too much trouble, they let you go. And that's just it. Osimhen needs somebody to launder his image, because at the moment, his image is not representing him well and it's not allowing him to get the right move for him. I hope he's able to resolve this, hot-headedness before he gets to another club. If not, it will continue to hamper his career. It's just so unfortunate, that he has allowed his hot-headedness to get him into this mess.
All right, Mario, I hope that Osimhen is listening. He's currently in Nigeria, and of course, he was recently in Ajigule, where he had a handshake. Of course, met with football fans. But time not really our friend. I would have loved to talk about Ralph Ragnick, who has likened the club's situation to needing open heart surgery in order to return to his former success. And open heart surgery is not every surgeon that can perform such a surgery. It requires specialists. And unfortunately, you don't have the right surgeons. We'll keep searching. I wish you all the best. We'll do a GoFundMe later on for Man United to help their situation. Even their training ground is in 90s grade. It's unfortunate. Maiwa, thank you for being a part of the show. Happy searching, happy finding, and happy looking for a good surgeon.
Well, it's always amazing to be here. Jerry, let me say this today. We are going to shock you next season. Don't worry, watch out for Manchester United.
Which next season? Okay, the only other season. Okay, shock absorber.